Hi everybody, this is Talonya Geary coming to you today to discuss the beast of all topics, time management. I, over the years, have worked with a number of different people to find out a system that works to really manage time effectively. And today I've made it as simple as possible, and I bounced it down into these 5 short principles. I've borrowed bits and pieces of time management of tools and strategies from a number of different people. And what I'm going to give you today is really the best of the best. I've worked with business coaches. I've also worked with, a gentleman that managed Madonna for 25 plus years. And it was these tools and strategies that I pulled from them that have really helped me to come up with a system that's going to work for you. Let me start off by talking about what are you doing with all this free time anyways? I think a lot of people fail to think about what they're really doing with their time. They fail to classify what it is, what kind of category does it fit into, and they're really just lacking the awareness of where all this time is going. So I want to start with this first principle, which is one of the most important, and that is really encouraging you to define what's important to you. I always sit down at the beginning of each year, and actually, quite honestly, at the end of each month, the first day of the month, and I really start to define what's important to me, and I start to look at how I'm spending time in these categories. Some people pick 3, some people pick 4. I tend to always pick about 4 to 6 different areas. I always start with health. I always go over my finances, my job, relationships, spirituality, so on and so forth. But what I've done here is I've given you kind of the 7 different categories that you can choose from. These 7 categories are also, the foundation of how we built Spire, and they're at the heart and soul of our company. But most people at some point touch on multiple areas that I'm putting in front of you. But it's not really up to you to decide which areas you want to focus on. My suggestion is to start simple, but above all, make sure you're really stopping to think about what's important to you, what categories of your life are you really investing your time in, and then we'll start filling in the blanks from there. So far, so good. Let's go on to principle 2. Some people fail with their time because they haven't even committed to creating a schedule. Now, like I said, I've created schedules. I depending on where I'm at in my life, how many projects I'm working on, am I traveling, am I at home? I always work from a simple framework that allows me to at least build the home that my time is going to live in. Let me create an analogy for you. Your schedule is the house that you purchased. And you're always going to redecorate, you're always going to remodel, you always have the opportunity to buy new furniture, but you always have to at least have the structure, the walls, the roof, and the foundation to move in and out of. That's what a schedule is like for me. Now, I always tell people, find the tool that works for you. I personally use an iCalendar because I'm an Apple products user, but I use a multitude of these things. I'm always working off my Moleskine journals where I'm writing things down, popping things into my iCalendar. And I even go as far as to work through an at-a-glance, which basically gives you a day-by-day breakdown. But the main point of this principle, too, is to really find a schedule and a system that works for you. Third, take action. Go do, go do, go do here. So my principle 3, take action, Jackson. Make sure that you are pro-action oriented, not reaction oriented. Good time management really is a take 2 steps forward, two steps back approach. Like I told you, I've worked with a lot of people who've taught me different lessons and tools and strategies to have the best management. But none of it really matters if you're not willing to take action. So principle 3, get out there, take action, do yourself a favor, know that you're always going to take 2 steps forward, and then unfortunately you're going to be kicked back 1. Just keep going. Just keep taking the action. Just keep doing. Principle 4, have integrity. This is a big one that I learned from my business coach. Keep your word to yourself. Having integrity is not the moral integrity that we often think about. And if you've read my blogs, I speak a lot about this. Having integrity is saying you're going to do something and then doing it. It's that simple. If you want success from your career, if you want success from your relationship or your businesses, you have to create consistency by keeping your word to your time and keeping your word to yourself. So if Mondays are your days to work on creation of the business or to work on the administration, do that every Monday. Be consistent. Gary Vaynerchuk, who's a very popular blogger and now a really great influential speaker and writer out there in the circuit, said something the other day, I think on Twitter, that was profound. And he said, our biggest vulnerability is our ability to be consistent. Think about that. Success is the result of consistent behavior that just compounds those results. After time, it's like putting money in the bank. After a year passes, you have that principal now with interest. Next year, you've got the principal and interest compounding. Time's the same way. When you work consistently to preserve your time, you just get consistent results. Last but not least, create capacity. When you keep your word to your time, when you create a system that works for you, when you take action consistently, when you have a very clear understanding of the different areas that you want to spend time, watch what happens with your capacity to do even more. So how much can you really handle here? With structure comes freedom, believe it or not. When you schedule both your personal and your career outcomes or responsibilities, you actually do end up finding more free time, quote unquote, than you thought. Just think about what you can do with this free time. You can build more businesses. You can spend more time with friends and loved ones. You can work out more. You can travel more. The possibilities are endless, really, really endless once you create the capacity to do it. So there you have it. Quick 5 principles of time management that will really, really launch you on your way to becoming a master of the art of time management. Listen, keep in touch with me. We can do so much more together whenever we keep in touch. I've given you multiple ways to find me. You can always email me, Talonya@spire.org. You can visit us online if you want to actually become a member. Follow me on Twitter and Facebook. And last but not least, get out there, do something with your lives. Go do. Thank you for joining me today. I hope to see you soon. Go do. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.